Bros Play!
Alrighty, let's do it, brother.
Bro, we're back.
Yeah, we're going into the Mansion of Madness.
It's the show.
The show is returned.
We're into the show again. We haven't done this in a long time.
It has been some time, but I'm looking forward to it.
When I was a kid, I wasn't uncomfortable with this outfit of hers, but now
I am,
yeah. Slut.
Yeah.
Is that all?
See, she knows how to defend herself, though.
It's really weird that they redid that. Like, look, there's an immediate degradation
yeah.
of the film, of the quality, with motion blur.
That is funny, though. She said, you're no zombie, but yet she tried to kick you in the crotch. I don't think that would work on a zombie.
Yeah, I don't think anyone said it made sense. Can you turn off the
motion blur?
Motion blur?
I could try. Oh.
You see, when careful, that tree almost fell on you. I was trying to make that up. Oh no.
Oh no.
Where'd all that fire come from? Was there that much fire in the chandelier?
Well, sometimes chandeliers are like oil lamps.
That's definitely scary stuff. That's a
You're definitely asking too much. Why does it even say video options? The only option is subtitles. Everything else is sound.
That's video, buddy.
That's so funny. Oh man. Yeah, you're lucky you get options.
Was it what was that? Was it sequelitis where he was like
Jesus.
Or one of these, and it's just that like one of those like splash pages
one of those controller things.
Yeah,
that was definitely sequelitis. Although I don't know which game he stole it from, but I know one of the worst offenders. I mean, it might be the one he referenced, but one of the worst offenders is Just Cause. Just Cause 2. It's like, oh, and here is 300 different options for the 15-second loading screen. The worst is also like they'll make new games, they'll up-res them, and then you won't have long enough to read. Right? Because it's supposed to take 30 seconds to load and now it takes 5. So it's this like long-winded explanation you'll never be able to read. This bat doesn't work very well.
I'm pretty into the zombies though. Like this is kind of
cool.
You
like it?
Like they're looking pretty good. Yeah, I guess set them on fire, it should be ineffective because you're supposed to destroy the brain, right?
That's a good point, because some zombies are affected by fire. Not all zombies, though. So I don't really know what that's all about.
What's the pool situation going on there? Why are there 3 different colored balls lined up?
It's a good question.
And can you pick up the...
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can.
Oh, boy.
All right.
What? He has a baseball bat?
I'm into it. Apparently...
Well, they all have baseball bats now.
Walking Dead zombies get smarter. But I haven't seen that. I've seen 10 seasons, and I have not seen them getting smarter.
Get smarter? I thought they were supposed to get dumber.
They're supposed to degrade over time, which is the consistency. But they teased the idea that there were zombies that were talking, but it ended up just being a gang that pretends to be zombies. And they just, like, hang out in the groups. And
that's what I'm thinking is people are conflating it with. Definitely just that, like... singular plot point.
Look at how big your shoulder is, dude. Get the bat out again and start walking around.
Oh wow.
Look at that FOV.
Dude.
Oh no.
The camera is in my chest. This is actually like a police body cam angle.
Can you stop spinning?
Sorry. I'm trying to see the shoulder.
What are you, some sort of non-motion sickness guy?
I really wish I could pick these up. No, I'm not a huge motion sickness guy. I'm taking this with me though.
Oh dude, that sound. It's like a stock sound that Ratchet and Clank used.
Yeah, that was that. Oh.
Right.
I don't like these, like, oh, the girl has to let you go at specific times. I'm not a huge fan of that method.
Overly scripted is bullshit. It's all like a guy once tried to sell Uncharted games to me. I don't mean like literally sell. I mean like the idea.
Oh.
But he was like, the whole game is designed to make you feel like a badass. And I'm like, yeah, but video games are supposed to be about restrictions. Things you have to overcome because of things you can't do. Not, here's a game that will just make you feel like you're above everyone else. Which I guess is everybody has their own thing, their own reason why they play games, right?
Well, that's what I felt about The Darkness.
Some people try to escape, some people try to
Or not the darkness. Prototype. Prototype just made you so overpowered.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of felt useless.
Fire's the only way to kill them. My colleague had a flamethrower. It's over there somewhere. Please help me.
Why is he telling you about that if you already have one?
I'm thinking maybe it's possible you'll have run out.
Oh.
He said there's a flamethrower somewhere.
Is it where the light is?
Which light? This
No,
one?
there's like a beam of light out in the forest there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I'm also wondering, like, it was waiting for a minute, so it might have just been...
I would say just use your flamethrower.
Yeah.
You don't have to... You got 500.
But it also says they're supposed to surface.
Maybe you have to coax them.
That's what I'm thinking. I gotta...
Hurry! I'm slipping!
Also see what happens if you set the scientist on fire. No warning at all.
That didn't
How
take long,
unfair.
yeah.
What am I supposed to know?
No friendly fire at all.
Like, I'm just supposed to know that
Is it not gonna restart me automatically?
retry mission.
That's so weird that it's just like, well, if you want to screw around with these worms, you can. Wait.
Yeah, it's like one thing.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine. Don't set them on fire, dude. It's not doing anything, and you're just getting burned by them when you get close enough.
Yeah. Is that why I'm taking damage?
Yeah, because you're just fire damage. I was just playing pool the other day. I might have been drinking and on drugs, and it was going pretty good. I found that whenever I fought with confidence, whenever
I figured out a new system.
it's a head for a head. What I was finding is that every time,
Yes!
it's like you're not
This
even
is
losing
the
the head.
This is how it needs to be done from now on.
And what I found was that taking a shot without confidence, and then you do that like, oh man, that's not what I was going for. But if you just hit things with confidence, even if you don't land it, people are still like, oh, he's all right with a pool.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So I would just hit everything with like full confidence. But we were just bowling for the old company Christmas party, and I forgot how awkward bowling is, and how great it is actually. When I first got there, I was like, "This is weird. Why would you choose bowling for a company thing?" But then I realized it's a great equalizer because very few people are good at bowling, but there's no external factors that go into making a bowling shot. Like it's not like baseball where you have to rely on other people. Like in bowling, it's your shot. You either make it or you don't.
Yeah, you're either good or you're not. Yeah, that is true.
Everybody gets to rent the shoes. Everybody rents different size balls. Like there's really nothing keeping you from being as good as everybody else other than, well, practice and patience and all that other stuff. But it's great every time somebody takes a shot, especially because not everybody's that comfortable with each other because it's like a 50-person work party.
Right.
You get to see these awkward moments where, like, the second that somebody throws the ball, they're like up on stage basically, and they're like, "Oh, this is not what I wanted." So like, it's just like one thing after another of people going up on stage and then not succeeding and then sitting back in there and getting put back in their place.
Yeah, well, the best is like when I go bowling, if I break 100, that's a good game. And that's out of a total of 300 points. So it's just, we're all shooting 75s and like someone wins with a 90 and it's like, woo!
Yeah, well,
bowled.
how does it go? It's 10, is a point per pin?
So you get 1 point per pin, but if you get a spare, you double the points that you get on your first throw for the next bracket.
Right.
And if you get a strike, you double the points for both throws in the next bracket.
So there's 300 points total in 10 rounds.
Correct, because don't forget you also shoot twice in the final round, whether or not you knock over all the pins.
Right.
So in the final round, you can get two strikes.
Right. We sat next to my boss, who is definitely a good boss to hang out with. I've had many bosses in my life where I would have been.
Yes.
It would have been like a really bad moment if I had to bowl with them.
Right.
But because I have a good boss, it was a good time. And apparently one of my coworkers pointed out to the boss under him that I was sitting next to him, and he's like, he's going for your chair, bro. Watch out for Mitch.
Oh,
And
God.
I'm like, you guys are hilarious. I don't want anybody's fucking chair.
Do you know where we are, brother?
It's the stag head thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
it's-
monster is the stag.
Well, way to ruin the fun.
You just fucking I had to prove that I knew things.
Yeah? Are you a celebrity? Do you know things?
I know things. Let's find out.
Man, that's a really, Oh no! I don't remember this part.
Lincoln with a shotgun. He got wise. He didn't go to the He didn't go to the opera. Are you a offensive meme fan?
Yeah. I mean, offensive jokes in general.
What I love about offensive jokes is that it's like the boiling point of a liquid, and the freezing point is like politeness. So like you've got the minimum requirement for politeness, and then you've got the edge where it stops being polite. You know what I'm talking about? So like an offensive joke is about pushing the limit and finding out how far, like where's the boiling point of this liquid. And every group of people is a different liquid with a different boiling point and a different freezing point.
Right.
So offensive memes are, on their surface, offensive. But realistically, I think they're actually very good for us.
They are good for people. Well, I forget if it was Joe Rogan that said this directly or if he was quoting somebody, but anything that can't be mocked is bullshit.
Yeah, Joe Rogan also said wild.
What? Just those two words, that word, wild?
Joe listeners will think that was very funny. They're rolling on the floor right now.
Yeah, they're waffling.
Yeah. He says wild like 18 times an episode.
Well, I'm sure
it's like one of the only describing words he has for things, and it's in fairness, most of the shit he says that about is wild.
Well, it's like when I was in high school and we just got obsessed with the word epic, and so fucking everything was epic. Nothing was
epic.
Normal anymore.
It's funny. Somebody just
Is blood still left in this thing?
The other day, somebody described Green Day's "American Idiot" as a, what did they say? It was a high school album, and I was like, well, it depends on what schooling you were in when it came out, because for me it was an elementary school thing.
Yeah, we were definitely in elementary when American Idiot hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green Day's tough because I go back and I listen to American Idiot and it's still a fantastic album.
Oh, I love it.
And you listen to their new stuff and you're like, what the hell happened to you guys?
Was it Hell Yeah or Fuck Yeah or Yeah?
What is happening?
I think
this
she's shooting
bitch
you.
keeps shooting
She's
me.
definitely shooting you. Yeah.
I just want to return the favor once or twice.
One of their newer-ish in like the 2020s is called like Hell Yeah.
You might be right about that.
It's got yeah in it for something. But it's, oh my god, is it ever bad?
I think they discovered how to be profitable and it was the death of how to be good.
Yeah.
Well, and that happens to a lot of people, and it is what it is. But it's just so disappointing for, when you did love them back in the day, when it was all fresh.
Oh, Hitching a Ride, bro?
Dude, Hitching a Ride.
Begins with that little string instrument.
But it's also Give Me Novocaine, right? Those are combined, aren't they?
No.
Oh, no, you're right. It's Give Me
combined
Novocaine and She's a Rebel.
No.
No?
It's Give Me Novocaine and I don't have my phone on me.
I thought it was She's a Rebel.
It might be.
Yeah, I swear it is. Why do all the scientists... Is this the same scientist or a new guy? Because they all look identical.
This is the early 2000s. There's no...
Yes.
You'd be lucky if it was like Half-Life, where there's like two scientist character
Yeah,
roles.
seriously, to alternate back and forth.
Well, there's a great expression I got from Bill Maher called presentism, which is when you judge something by the current standards and rather than where it came from.
Right.
So it's really easy to boot
Oh
up
my God.
Half-Life on a 4K monitor and go, oh man, these are some jank-ass graphics. But if you look at Half-Life on the bullshit ass CRT television screens we were using for monitors back then, it looks pretty good. Same thing with like Mario 64. You get like an HD version of that game, and it looks like ass because the graphics were designed for a lower resolution monitor.
Yeah, and when it's smaller, it doesn't make as big a difference.
Yeah.
And when you consider that, you know, at the time, you had like Pong and shit that was the standard, right? It was groundbreaking.
I was just watching a documentary about that, and Pong is not the first even version of Pong. It was like table tennis before that, and it was like an internal thing. It was kind of like floating around the company internally.
And did that come before or after Highway Crossing Frog?
Way before.
Sorry.
Of course, it's Frogger. For
No,
people
it's
who
not.
haven't seen the MTV Music Award parody of the second Matrix movie. That's a very obscure reference when you think about it.
You know what? When you put it in those words, it sounds pretty obscure, but it was big at the time.
Bro,
Will
get-
Ferrell and
bro.
JT were in it.
Shoot this fucking slut out of the door.
I gotta say,
just really wanted to say that without getting in trouble.
I really appreciate that the zombies take such a walloping because it is kind of fun to shoot them and watch them like flop on their back and then do it all over again. Look at that. That's actually pretty well done.
Yep.
The mirror effect.
In it's Doom or maybe it's Wolfenstein. You can see yourself in the mirror,
Fuck this room.
and they did it by. It's actually the world has been copied. Like the world is actually also on
It's
that
in
side.
there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's creepier.
Because the original first-person shooters, you didn't move. The world moved around you, and it just gave the appearance of movement.
That is actually pretty brilliant.
You know what's fucking nuts about the original Doom is that it was made by the guys who did Wolfenstein, and it was like 2 of them. And I might be wrong with that. But Doom is pretty much the first-person shooter. And it also established the meta that we continue to use to this day. Pistol, shotgun, assault rifle, rocket launchers, like all that kind of stuff.
What's going on here? Can I jump? I've already forgotten if I can jump. I don't think you can jump.
If it can, it might be like a bumper.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't think so.
Also, that is a programmable controller. So there's like a little button on the inside there, like flappers.
Oh, I
for,
do see those, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what they're set to right now, so you can figure that out. Oh, clever. Yeah, I didn't know that when rats die, they explode in blood spurts.
I think are they rats? I thought
And
they were
there's-
scarabs.
Oh, it could be. I mean, I also didn't know that scarabs did that. Also, the saturation on the blood level is higher than on your gas tank.
I did notice that, yeah.
That is so intense.
They actually kind of remind me of all the plants you have to destroy in Jack. In was it Jack 3 or 2? I forget. With the one with the
Scarabs are in Jack 2 for sure.
No, but I meant when you had to go and destroy all the dark eco plants by like skateboarding over them with the green eco.
That's 2.
Oh, bitch. That was a very effeminate zombie death noise.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is actually an era that has seemed to have gone away where if I shoot her from way back here, it's one thing. But then if I get up to the next guy and I really put it to him, it kills him. Like shotguns nowadays feel like there's a range at which they do no damage, then they start doing damage, and then they do their full damage within like 6 inches of that range. You know, gone are the
Yeah.
days where you want to like, you know, get right up, push it against them so you can get full damage out of it.
Gone are the days.
I love that expression. I love all
It's,
those old expressions.
I have heard people complaining about that with the new COD, and I don't even need to say which one it is because
just the new one,
The next
yeah.
one's also going to be the same as this one. So,
That was creepy as shit.
she's supposed to be spinning around.
I don't know.
She's supposed to be T-posing right now, or is she like on the cross? Is that?
Oh, this guy hit me with a bat. Oh, I didn't even realize it was
They
sealed
are
in here.
so clever about their door closing features.
Yeah, behind you like that? Okay, well, there we go. God damn it. The zombies with guns.
Yeah, they can take a walk. And
Someone just killed her. Who killed her?
Friendly fire is also gone are the days of friendly fire.
Yeah, man.
That's not true though.
But yeah, she is supposed to be spinning, and she's a fire demon.
Insurgency Sandstorm has shotguns that actually operate like shotguns, where the gauge actually has an impact on the speed of the weapon, and the amount of damage it does over time.
What do you mean by speed? Like firing
like the
speed?
velocity of the
of the pellets.
Of the pellets. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's kind of awkward though. It's called Insurgency, and it's about clearly about
Would you fucking die?
They called it Insurgents versus Security because they didn't want to.
Yeah,
they didn't want to be like terrorists versus America.
Right.
But it's like, why call it Insurgency if you're not going to commit to
them being terrorists?
Concept?
Yeah.
Because there's no actual insurgency in the multiplayer. But there's no way for you to pretend to be a civilian and then whip out a weapon.
Right.
It's just a competitive shooter where one side is military and one side is indigenous to desert places.
Let's also just be honest. When it comes to insurgencies, typically there's a giant technological disadvantage, so that wouldn't be a lot of fun in multiplayer.
There's only one difference there, which is that the commander can call in a helicopter from security, but there's no helicopter on insurgent side. But the insurgents have something else. They have like chemical weapons or something.
Yeah, so it's
And I'm like, that's against the Geneva Convention.
It certainly
which is the weirdest. Rules of war is the weirdest thing. It's taken me 30 years to still not fully understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose if you can agree that there's a way that we don't want our people to die and it mitigates the suffering, then I suppose I get it.
Well, I honestly think it's actually somewhat similar to the way that we have rules for mixed martial arts. It's like you're allowed to fracture someone's frontal bone into their brain with your knee, but you're not allowed to hit them in the back of the head. Seems kind of silly, but it's sort of part of, obviously there are no rules of war if you're talking about one-on-one. If you're talking about two countries and they're the only countries in the whole planet, there are no rules because whatever country wins makes the rules. The idea behind rules of war is if two countries go to war, the other 200 countries in the world are supposed to come together and say, okay, well, you can't war that way.
Yeah.
Strange
I mean, I understand it if it's about mitigating suffrage.
I think that's what it's for.
But
in
MMA, though, it's very voluntary. These guys are trained they're training for this. Whereas war is usually brought on to one side by the other. So it's weird that you can say, like, it's okay if you do this thing against their will, but don't do that thing against their will.
Yeah, I think in some ways there's also a parallel with animal cruelty laws, where it's like, it's pretty freaking cruel to keep and slaughter animals anyways. Like, it's kind of weird to be like, well, yeah, okay, but you can be cruel, like, in the way that you kill them. You just can't be more cruel than that.
Yeah,
right?
Vegans call them, they call them animal holocausts.
What's that?
Like factory farming?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's hard to call it a holocaust. I mean, it would be Holocaust singular, though, because it's just been ongoing for so long. What the fuck? I do not remember this.
Speaking of animal holocausts.
I do love that it doesn't even define it. Creature.
There's a great Atreyu song called Creature.
Wow. Sorry.
That is not what Atreyu sounds like.
Are you sure?
They sound more like, whoa,
whoa,
I'm a creature, and I have no more mushrooms, bro.
Oh man,
I was taking these mushrooms in pill form.
Like cordyceps mushrooms or lion's mane?
It was lion's mane, yeah, it was one of them.
Ah.
And it was helping with brain function, but the motherfuckers cost like $60 a month. It was ridiculous.
Jesus.
So I was like, you know what? I think I'll expand my brain power by doing things like not watching 200 YouTube shorts before bed.
Yeah, and just generally taking care of your health
or engaging in conversation.
I gotta say, this is a really uninspiring boss.
Yeah, he's also taking out.
I think it's just because I was trying to get creative, and I really should have just walloped him.
I'm gonna turn that motherfucker down.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, I didn't realize how many revolver shells I had accumulated. We started with like 8, and I didn't want to get rid of them, and now I've got 70. So I think I should start using it again. Come on. Oh no, he's starting to lob fireballs.
He's a lobber.
He almost took me out with that last shot, too.
It's fine. It's not like he would have to restart the whole thing again.
Hey, the slut's back. Nice slut.
The slut came back the very next day.
Oh my god.
Everybody knows that sluts are red and that fishnets are part of the experience. Are you done?
I'm just trying to... I'm like, isn't she supposed to be opening the door? It's locked. Where am I going now? Am I going back?
Jump in the hole.
Yeah, you can't jump. That's probably why. But let's see. Okay, I guess we just go back the way we came?
What?
Oh yeah, it must be.
What are you referencing when you say it's locked like that? Oh no, is that a cow corpse?
It's hard to tell if it's human or
Well,
not.
it's making a cow noise.
Oh, you're right. They are cow carcasses.
If this was a Mitch show, I would have zoomed in on her getting
Beat
smashed.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe the "it's locked" thing is a reference to Draken.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, because she says
It's
locked.
locked. Yeah, when you try and open a door, and
right,
you know.
right.
You know, you and me, anytime we find one audio clip, we try and play it like 6,000 times till the character gets mad. Like, there's no place to put that.
There's no place to put that.
Shout out to Dark Alliance and Champions. Well, actually, both Champions games.
They'll pay for this.
Oh, that's right. Probably the best voice acting of all time. Nice.
Listen to that twang. That like Wild West twang.
That's such a nice
That's
audio.
crazy.
Ooh, we investigated the mansion successfully. We got Arthur Aching, and Gaston. Oh, I can't think of the name Gaston without thinking of the stupid Beauty and the Beast movie.
Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. Oh my god, Gascoigne.
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah, this is weird.
What?
Oh. So they're about to climb down a ladder, and she says, you go first, and he's like, well, you're wearing a skirt, but whatever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm like, how old is this bitch? She'd better be 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna say that she is, because otherwise, Crypto or Cortez, whatever my name is.
Cortez, yeah. God, I love classic video games, man. Like late 90s, early 2000s, every game had a character being dragged away by a thing you couldn't see.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. It's so creative. It's like the limitation is that it's like very hard to animate that way and to get it to work right. So you just make sure that when the character comes around the corner, they're like in the middle of something and not being dragged.
Yeah, it definitely sent me back a little ways.
I know in the original Dead Space has a section where you get grabbed by a big tentacle monster, and it pulls you down a hallway as you fight it. And I think you can get out of it at different points. And they said it was like the hardest thing that they had to do with the game.
Oh my god, that's her!
Oh no!
What the hell?
Oh, it's a bunch of hers.
Oh, okay. I was wondering
That's
why it was.
creepy. Are you my mummy?
Let's not go down that road.
They look like the kid with the mask. They look like they have.
They do. Oh, that is one of the creepiest episodes of Doctor Who of all time. The gas mask one.
Yeah.
I know
I'm
it was
very cross. Go to your room.
What's really interesting about it is, like, despite being one of the creepiest and scariest episodes, it's also one of the most happy ones, like, as far as how it all plays out.
He's like...
These also remind me of the spider splicers from BioShock.
Where was I going, though? I had a thing. I was going there with something, and then we got interrupted there.
Are you talking about people being dragged away in the old
Oh,
games?
yeah.
Oh, that's her.
They were saying that in Dead Space 1, this tentacle section was like it was basically as hard as the rest of the game.
This one small section.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta protect her from this stuff wholesale.
Yeah. Of course.
Kind of was hoping she was gonna get herself down. I thought she was a shapeshifter at first, so I definitely shot her a few times.
I thought you were just fucking with her.
No.
I thought you understood that there was a health bar above. Yeah.
Thanks for the advice, Tips. I always love when they do that.
The heads, man. I love how many heads have
rolled.
Yeah. Heads will roll.
That's a protest reference.
It is.
Nice.
Heads will roll, throats will be slit.
Blood will flow like springs of water. It's a great album.
Wow.
It's honestly not bad. It's the best you can do without losing your throat in the process.
I'd be really into seeing them live. That'd be pretty wicked.
Oh, I feel like they'd put on a good show too.
Of course, they're cool guys, and they hang.
Exactly,
And
they have good
some of the
energy.
guys after the show will hang out with the group.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a dangerous game.
certain ones.
I'm just so not worried about these scientists at all. Oh.
It's fine.
Aw.
They made them. Fuck them.
Oh, that's right.
That's the pursuit of science. Whoa! Check out that screensaver, bro.
Dude, this brings me back. You know what this reminds me of?
Mm.
The pipes.
The pipes.
Remember the pipes? There would just be all these random pipes, and they get crazier and crazier and crazier, and then boom, back to normal. Look at that. They even got 2 towers and 3 monitors. This is like really advanced for the time.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, stuff.
Laboratories.
Screensavers.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is horrible. This is really freaky.
What was the one on the right? Brains?
The one on the right, yeah, was just some sort of brain, like brain chemistry. Oh, brain chemistry and zombies. That's what I'm going with.
What the fuck? There's a guy who I think he referred to the internet as a series of tubes, and when Pyrocynical has its show called A Series of Tubes, he used the tubes from the Windows
Nice.
screensaver.
Oh my God, I actually had to use this thing?
Ah. Yeah. Very nice.
This is some advanced stuff for the time.
It's crazy. Every level has its own set of things. And set of weapons. That is so much better than giving the player 16 weapons to use. Is give them 4 at a time in 4 different levels. That is so
Jesus.
much cooler.
That's so creepy. But I agree. And we also, it was a little weird that when we went from the mansion to the underground, we lost the weapons that we had. Because it's a little different when you jump through a time portal versus when you just go down a ladder.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's hard to carry a ladder down, or a shotgun down a ladder. I'm just trying to figure out.
New message. Eat brains. Next thing, just brains.
Oh, that's funny.
All
Success
A's,
at
though.
last. Our reanimation took place this morning. Test subject, this one, was given new life after being dead for 6 days. His mind has not been restored, and he has been restrained to prevent him from eating people. One of the nurses says he reminds her of an ex-boyfriend. So we have christened him Trevor. Oh my God. So just speaking of shotguns, I saw a device that someone made today. You know how to shotgun a beer, right?
Yes.
Well, they had
Talking about the
made
Kraken?
what's that?
Never mind. Go ahead.
They had made a shotgun-shaped device that you put a beer in, and then you can actually shotgun it through that. Okay, what's going on? I gotta be able to open. Oh, unlocks.
There's a door. Freudian slip. Wow. There's a product called the Kraken that goes on the bottom of a beer, and it has this one hook that looks like an octopus tooth, and it presses into the bottom of the beer and gives like a really big opening, so you can shotgun a beer really fast.
Ah, okay.
It's also super clever because it's like cracking a beer, cracking.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we found out in university we had rock chisels, and we found out those were actually perfect for shotgunning beers. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can do this.
You should lift it. I think you have to reconnect it.
But it's not, like, typically you'd just grab it and it would work.
Oh, yeah. That could also
That
be
works,
that.
too. Dude, these zombies are absolute sorcerers. They're throwing lightning at us.
This is one of, what, 15 levels in this game?
Yeah.
And there's more zombie variety than COD zombies.
Well, yeah, COD Zombies is just bland.
It's more than most
Uninterested.
games. Like, even, I really wanted to enjoy Sniper Elite had, like, a standalone zombie game, and I wanted to enjoy it, but there wasn't enough going on with it. Like, the reason why Left 4 Dead is still fun is because the common zombies are great, and they work really well in, like, a cohesive unit. And the specials add teamwork requirements.
Yeah, you cannot press fourth alone.
No, just hunters and smokers on their own will fuck you up because you don't have the ace shots you have to make to deal with a hunter like in the air. It's ridiculous.
And smokers you often don't even see, so there isn't
Yeah.
anything that can be done.
Yeah, jockeys, spitters, boomers are like arguably the only thing that like doesn't require teamwork, but heavily promotes it. Because
Yeah.
now there's a horde after you and you can't see very well,
Th-
so you have to be protected.
It's funny, they added all these other specials, and it didn't matter. Like, truly, the
But-
three they had were very much sufficient.
So what I like about the spitter and the jockey is that it proves just how good the first game design was. Like, it's so good that when you added two arguably good specials that don't step on anyone's toes, really, and they also work together. The jockey and the spitter are a really great combo because the jockey can pull you into spit.
True, there was also the Charger, which I was not a huge fan of.
I like the charger.
What I don't like about the Charger is how... Well, you know what? I guess the Charger is cool in some ways. I just think it was... The amount of damage you take from the Charger was kind of ridiculous. Like how quickly it would kill somebody, but I guess that's the point.
I like rooftop chargers.
Dude, when the people... When they could grab you and charge you right off...
Yeah.
into nothingness,
the
that
best.
was pretty epic. And that's where the multiplayer was way more fun.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I also really wanted to enjoy Back 4 Blood, but part of the issue is that they promoted it so heavily as this spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, which is just not true.
Oh, I've never actually heard that.
Because the people who created the idea for Left 4 Dead are the guys who run Turtle Rock Studios. That is true. But they're not the only reason why the game was so good. That's the problem. Valve was hugely involved in the development of that game. But the idea did come from those guys. So that's where it gets a little tricky.
Oh, I see. So spiritual successor is maybe not 100% correct.
In my experience, spiritual successors are rarely ever even close. Yeah, that's really the problem. Too many of them have come out. Like the Dead Space spiritual successor, it's called Callisto Protocol. Definitely doesn't stand up. Back 4 Blood doesn't stand up. Even the stuff that I don't actually know his name, but yeah, they call him Ego, IGO. And he was like the modern father of
Well, that did it.
I would say give him a hand, but it's just like
There's no hands, yeah.
The guy who did Castlevania made a spiritual successor, and it wasn't as good as the remember we played that Curse the Moon?
Yes.
That
was
was
awesome.
I'm pretty sure that was a goal for the Kickstarter.
What was a goal?
Like if we get if it's a, if we make this much money, we'll make the one game, but if we get an extra like 200K, then we'll make this other kind of demake game. And that's what that was.
Interesting.
That was like the secondary game to go with the first one, and it was so much better. The actual proper game that came out was like, oh, okay. Some people like this, but you know.
Well, because that game was awesome. That Curse of the Moon, or what was it called?
It was wicked. Yeah, I think Curse the Moon is what it was called.
We had a lot of fun. Did we beat it?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know if we beat it, but we definitely had a blast. It was unique, like just the way that you played 4 characters and the implications of all that.
Yeah. My favorite part was rapidly switching in the air.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna mention that too. Just freezing all of time and space.
I thought the cart left you behind there.
It did. It certainly did. Man, he's built like Jack Reacher.
Which one? Which Jack Reacher?
The real Jack Reacher.
Alan Richardson?
Yes.
Richardson? I never know if you're supposed to pronounce that I. Like, is it just Richson or Richardson?
Oh, I actually don't think I've seen it spelled.
Dude, he was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
What?
Yeah. He was one of the Michael Bay turtles.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I just know him as Thad.
Yes, he is also Thad. It's amazing though the difference between Blue Mountain State and Jack Reacher.
You mean his physique?
I almost didn't believe it.
I know. He does such a good job at doing the Reacher character. What I thought was really cool about the show is, my only interaction with Jack Reacher is from the Tom Cruise movies. Mm-hmm. And even though there was definitely a serious lack in his physical presence, they did a good job capturing the essence of the character, his behavior.
I don't know what he's supposed to be. I've heard people were unhappy with the Tom Cruise movies. Personally, I thought the first one was a real banger, and the second one was really riding on the laurels of the first one.
I agree, yeah.
The first one
was
had
fantastic.
Such a good setup. This whole thing with, like, this obvious guy that you could pin a murder on, but then maybe the murder's got something to do with something else, and like even right down to like semi-spoilers alert, but at the end there's no like there's no stupid conversation where it's like you have to choose between the girl and he just fucking shoots the guy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you forgot he's an incredibly good sharpshooter. So if he's like 10 feet away from you and you're holding a hostage, like you better be behind that hostage.
Yeah, well, it's like how Taken ends, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you got to choose, bang.
Yeah.
Oops.
Exactly. It bothers the shit out of me. We were just watching The Peripheral, which is a TV show on Prime with Chloe Grace Moretz, who played Hit Girl.
Okay, yeah.
From Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
It's a great show, but a couple of the action scenes are so lazy. You're going to go ahead and tell me that these are professional soldiers. They've set themselves up the way that their weaponry is supposed to work, and they get an ambush, and they still didn't hit a single person.
Oh, my God.
I was like, come the fuck on, man. You can't tell me those guys are professionals. It's like one or the other. Either tell me these are a bunch of hooligans who don't know how to shoot, or tell me that they're professionals and then make it serious. You like go the middle route where you tell me that they're spooky, they're scary guys. These guys are really good. It's a good thing that we're just as good. But it's like, yeah, but these guys can't fucking shoot. Firing blanks.
I just really like the consistency of the character in actually both Reachers. Mm-hmm. Like just where, so in the movies, he keeps talking about how, would this guy just do something? Because it's his job to kill the people, my job to kill the ghosts. in the first one, he keeps talking about, they're like, yeah, and so your friend did whatever, and he's like, yeah, he's not my friend. And they're like, yeah, well, this is what your friend was doing. He's like, no, he's not my friend. And then in the TV show, he's like, the number of times he said, have you seen the show? Yeah. So the number of times he says, yeah, but that's a hell of a lot of animal feed.
Yes.
I was absolutely dying of laughter after a while, because I love how consistent the portrayal is.
Yeah, she's like, can you stop talking about the animal feed? And he's like, honestly though, like, it's a lot of animal feed.
A lot of animal feed, yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the first film. The second film made me wonder why I watched it. But the TV show was great. I'm not saying, I actually have no problem with the TV show, really. There was really nothing wrong with it.
Well, that's good. I haven't finished it, but I'm definitely going to push through. It's exciting when something comes out that's really different these days.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's so boring television now.
He's going to eat that. Yep.
And part of it's our expectations. Like, part of it's because we're just so used to how good television can be that the bar is so high now. It used to just be like Relic Hunter was like a great show.
Yeah, actually.
And maybe Relic Hunter was a great show.
Just some garbage.
You know, like we used to put, I mean, how many seasons are there of that Hercules show?
What Hercules show?
Wasn't it Hercules? Pretty sure it was Hercules.
Hercules?
Yeah. And it was part of the same universe as Xena.
I don't remember this thing at all.
Oh. Do you remember the guy? Do you know who the guy that yells disappointed? I used the clip in.
Is that the same emotional damage guy?
No, that was funny though. I like that. No, it's the I used it in my San Andreas video. It's like disappointed.
Maybe.
So the story behind that meme is that it was you want to kill this fucking thing's pecking at you, buddy?
I'm trying.
No, the fucking birds. That's where your health is going. There you go.
Turn them into mist. How do you like that?
The story behind it is that was a script action. Like, be disappointed. Not yell disappointed.
But it worked, so no complaints.
Well, I don't know if that actually comes from the show or if that's bloopers.
Right.
Who fucking knows? That is a big... It's like one of the huge downsides to the internet is that credit is just not given anymore. It's just gone. It's like it just belongs to us now.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Is there's not a whole lot of sourcing, and I know that was a big thing. Like there was, borderline meme wars where, people who are sharers of memes were really coming under fire because there was no even attempt to try and give original credit back to who was making these things.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, though, I like that the way the internet's structured allows all of that cream to rise to the top. You get jokes out of the internet that would be physically impossible to produce out of Hollywood.
That's the best thing about memes.
You just couldn't make them.
Yeah. Like I'll click on a meme that is like it'll say like offensive memes, but I'll click on the ones that have the thumbnail that's like Hitler working out of the gym.
Working out at the gym? Or?
Yeah, it's like a picture of a guy who looks just like Hitler at the gym.
Oh my god, yeah.
But that's the only thing in the thumbnail. Like that's the one I'll click on.
Right.
Because I want to know. I'm like, tell me more. Oh, almost every time though, the thumbnail has nothing to do with any of the stuff featured in the thing, which is kind of disappointing. But it's something I try to go the opposite way of. There are plenty of times where I have really good thumbnail ideas, and I'm like, that implies it's in the... Wow, is that a Jurassic Park reference?
You didn't say the magic word.
But it implies that that's in the video if you put something in there.
Yes, and that... I've been trying to take hard stances where as soon as you don't give me what you promised, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Mid-video... Like, I'll hold grudges against YouTube creators for that exact reason. Because I think you have to. I think it's the only way that the platform improves is if people hold creators to account by not watching them.
Yeah.
So if I watch a creator and I'm like, all you're doing is watching somebody else's content and you're not even commenting on it, I'm not coming back. If you're putting things in your thumbnails that are not actually in your video, I'm not coming back. If you lie to me, I'm not coming back. There's enough people with good content out there.
There's a line that I'm willing. Sorry, all my
Joe Barf Creepy. That's who I want to play.
if
All that work, my specimens, my research. What?
You're such a complainer.
Grandpa? No, fool! It's me! Grandpa! No! I'm you! You're me? Yes! From the future! Listen, the crystals are the key. Crystals? What are you talking about?
This reminds me of the third Men in Black movie.
I don't remember much about it. The Brolin's in it, right?
I don't know about that.
I think he's young K.
That's Josh Brolin?
I think so.
I'm trying to think about it now. I'm trying to like picture his eyes. I didn't think it was him, but it could be. Hey, look at the little windmills. How efficient.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say was, if you sit down to watch other people's meme videos and you watch like 3 of them in a row, and then you take the best memes from those videos and your best reactions, and then you put it together as one video, so it's not obvious that they all came from other people's stuff, then I can get behind that because it's you've transformed it into something new. But let's sit down and watch memes from one guy's video, and then you upload a video the same length as the video you're basically stealing from. That bothers the shit out of me.
Well, and the one that really bothers me is so people, it'll be like some sort of a video, and they'll be in like the bottom corner, and they'll just be pointing at it like this thing.
Oh,
It's
YouTube
like,
Shorts do that worse than anybody else.
You
That's
don't
like the
get,
worst place to find it.
You don't get credit for simply finding a thing. If you want to do that, this is the way you have to do it. You have to go and say, hey, go to Twitter or whatever and say, hey, here's a great YouTube video. Go and watch it.
That's what I thought.
That's how you'd have to do that.
Was so funny about that Bo Burnham line, or that Bo Burnham sketch he did in Inside when he was like reacting to himself.
Right. Maybe I don't remember this.
He starts by reacting to a song that he wrote, and then another one comes up in the corner, and he's now reacting to himself, reacting to the song.
Oh,
and that,
okay.
eventually there's like 4 of him, and they're all talking at the same time, and you can't hear a word.
Yeah, maybe. No, I definitely don't remember this. Is that in his special or?
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's not in the outtakes. It's definitely in the original. But yeah, on YouTube Shorts, that's the worst. Is the guy whose face is just in front of the thing he's stealing.
Yeah, and it's like,
the fuck
yeah.
out of here with that shit.
Fuck off, man. You know what? Another thing that really bothers me, and I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does, is the idea that so many people will advertise VPNs and openly talk about how you can use it to get around like regional restrictions.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a crime, right? You're advertising a crime in exchange for money. How are you not concerned that this is going to go poorly for you?
It's really crazy, like the upside of being able to do things yourself. I don't think you can do anything about this, brother. Gotta say.
I'm locked off.
That just turns on the security gates. It doesn't actually kill you.
But someone else does. Oh.
Yeah, it's just the guns.
Do I have anything to kill him with?
Maybe you can grab
This is
somebody
a
with your
really
gravity gun.
ineffective weapon. There we go. That's what I needed.
There you go. What were we talking about? Oh, the great thing about people being able to make stuff without help is that you can go off and not have to deal with other people's bullshit. But it also means that you are the only person making calls.
Yeah.
So you go
that's a
ahead and
good
say something
plan.
like that. Like normally, if you said something like that, like legal would be like, hey, you can't tell people that that's what's happening, right?
Right.
You can shoot through the wall.
I believe so.
Oh, new favorite game. That'd be funny if I made a video, Mitch's top 2022 games.
Oh, maybe you can't. You can just see through the wall.
And it was games that didn't come out in 2022.
Hey, if you played them in 2022, they're new to you.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. See, there's a path for everything. Look at that. You just gotta wait for the fucking things to go down, you dingus. That's a problem with this fucking generation. I love it when people go on about the generation.
He just tried to mag the shit out of me.
They have no idea how hard they're dunking on themselves by being so out of touch. To think that you're the first generation that thinks your generation's better than the new one, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You're the parent generation of the one before it. It's your fault if they're fucked up.
Well, what I find funny is, everyone wants to talk about, like, oh, this generation, and I'm just like, no. All the humans currently alive.
Yes.
Like, my issue is with all of the living humans. We've lost our way, for sure, but it has nothing to do with whether you were born in 85 or later.
It's like blaming a 5-year-old for not being familiar with Led Zeppelin's classics. It's like, you have to introduce them to Led Zeppelin's classics if you think that they're gonna... There's no way for them to know. You can't blame somebody for not knowing about something. That's up to other people to let them know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's too much shit nowadays, especially with parents who throw their 3-year-olds in front of YouTube and call that parenting. There's way too much content for a 3-year-old to get through that's new, let alone the stuff that's worth it from the past. How are they going to know, right?
If no one shows them. Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to teach them to appreciate the oldies. You gotta say, look, this movie's called Minority Report, and it doesn't look very good, but it's a great movie.
Yeah. Well, and you have to explain to them why TikTok is this soulless cavern of death and despair.
Well, and what's wrong with watching content that frequently? It's too much. It's too quick. It hurts your brain, whether you realize it or not. And you have to balance out your life. You have to, it's okay to watch 10 minutes of 15-second memes, but you spend all day watching short videos, and it will mess with you. It's not just your attention span; it's your ability to form fucking words, bro.
Yeah, that's a good point. We focus a lot on attention span. We don't focus on the other mental health implications of doing that on a consistent basis.
Yeah, on top of I'm doing it right now. This is what you want to avoid. Not being able to focus on more than one thing at a time. Not being able to get the right words. I'm constantly having a hard time recalling names, and it just destroys momentum in a conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you're, the guy who did the thing.
Yeah, it's like, who is that guy? And he was violent. It's like, what?
Mike Tyson.
What was that game where there was guns, and it was really good, and there was that guy in it? Yeah.
It's just difficult also sometimes to explain the breadth of the problem, because someone will say, oh yeah, like, is TikTok a problem? And you're like, shit, where the hell do I begin with trying to show them the problems that arise from TikTok, right? It's like, do you have 45 minutes to an hour? Let me pour some coffee.
You sit down with somebody at a party you haven't talked to in a long time, and every single thing. I love how you. And I haven't even got to the thing yet. It's just like sitting down next to someone at a party is the part that bothers you. You realize after like 20 minutes, the only way they get their news is Facebook, and it's like, let me explain something. It's like, there's so many things wrong with that. With even getting any information, let alone it being your only window into the world.
Well, that too. It's a world for sure where, it's not. Who the heck is this lady? Because I like her already.
Wow.
Yeah, check that out.
That's wicked. No wonder you and I are so upset at lazy action scenes.
Yeah.
Like when we were kids, we had so many good examples. Is that you controlling it?
Yes.
You're just gonna paint an outline.
Oh, I think I'm supposed to help. Like, I'm supposed to be protecting her.
That is
sure.
so cool. There's just so much going on in this game, bro.
It's an amazing game. It really is. That's why I was so disappointed when we got TimeSplitters 2, and it's just a shell of this.
Yeah, Future Perfect really got it right.
When
on the topic of you saying like people openly talking about crimes and stuff, I was watching this great video about people who got caught cheating in video games in various ways, and my favorite one is like such a great example of the whole like young influencer thing. Like the way that the Paul brothers used to behave because they were young and had lots of money and attention and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now that they're adults, like they're just way more
Calm.
intelligent and mature, and they don't like yell and scream their ideas all the time. And both of them are now legitimate performers in MMA fights. Like they've clearly maturing has done something to them, and that you can now look at their. I got very sidetracked here. You can now look at their behavior now and say that the behavior from the old days was because they were so young and unaware of their behavior, and they didn't have enough people in their life also telling them off. But there's this great one where there's this like 18-year-old kid, and he got into a professional gaming team, and it was like a huge dream for him to do, and it was a Fortnite clan. And so it was like, this is the beginning of his new career where he now gets to play video games for a living and have, lots of attention and all that shit. Very shortly after, he uploads a video of himself using aimbot or wall hacks, something like that. But he made the video about the wall hacks. He was like, check out this thing that I got. I don't know how I got it, but somehow it's on my computer. And he made the video about using hacks in Fortnite, not a custom game. He used it to see if it works, as if he was like, as if it was like a PSA or something. And he got fucking banned from the entire game and booted out of the clan. And so the next video he uploads is him like crying because he's now lost this incredible opportunity he had.
It is kind of weird to say like, yeah, I wanted to see if the cheating worked. Well, it wouldn't be banned if it didn't work.
There's definitely a way that he could have approached that without it being that way. I mean, for starters, call your fucking people and say, is it okay if I upload something like this? For starters.
Well, that's, yeah.
Because it's not like he didn't join an underground comedy scene where you can say whatever you want. He joined a professional video gaming company team.
Yeah.
Like
that's
you're
a problem.
you're going to be on stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people if you're competing professionally. That's serious. There's a lot of money riding on you. And there's a billion people who want to be a professional gamer. So it's not like they're hurting for individuals.
I did think it was a little interesting to say seriously, nothing to engage there. I did think it was a little interesting that they, that you get a lifetime ban for that.
From the game, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That to me seems intense.
Well, there's too many people doing too many things. You gotta make statements, right? You gotta let people know, like, we ain't gonna say maybe.
Right.
Wow. That was really part of the mission.
Yeah.
That is so wicked, dude.
It is.
I love this game.
What I like is that those things are in there, but it's also not like, because sometimes it's ridiculously specific what they want you to do, and it's really hard to find. But in this game, it's pretty obvious. It's like, well, there's nothing around here. Like, what's in this room? Hey, there's some explosive barrels. Let's see what happens there. It's
Except now what?
I don't know.
What's the new mission? Is the cleaning robot involved?
I don't think so. He was just to get me in here.
What?
Man, yeah, it's a really tough dude.
Those are some serious coveralls, buddy.
Yeah, I want coveralls like that.
Looks like they've tracked you down.
We got incoming. So I do understand why they have to take a strong stance on those things, but I'm also thinking, like, I guess it depends. Was he playing in a professional environment?
Not in that. No, he was playing at home, just streaming, I think.
Right. Because that's what I don't understand is, yeah, sure, the company he's working for is gonna boot him, 100%. I get that. What does seem a little strange to me is just like Fortnite themselves saying you're banned forever and for always.
Well, he was cheating in an actual game.
I suppose it's not a ranked game. They're not playing for money though.
No, but it goes against the community guidelines, and it also destroys the integrity of the game. I know people who have stopped playing games because of how frequently they encounter cheaters.
Ah, nice.
Like I know people who are like that, this or that COD, just I can't play it anymore
because there's so many of them.
And once it starts to happen enough, you start to question whether you're playing against good people or cheaters. And then now you don't know anymore, right?
Can I also question why? Like, is this an unavoidable problem or what? Why is it so easy to cheat?
Oh, well, on PC it's way easier.
Right, and I understand that that's a little different from console for sure.
There are anti-cheat softwares, but there's also softwares that get you past the anti-cheats. There are some games that allow you to mod the multiplayer, but to a point. Like Battlefront 2 lets you change skins so that, like, instead of being Yoda, you're like...
Dude, he's even got like an SS hat on.
But yeah, you can change your skins in Battlefront 2. And I don't know if the other people see it or not, but in actual multiplayer games, you can be Shrek or Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
But apparently, yeah, it was a Russian Badger video I was watching where he was saying, like, we modded it to the point where we were pretty sure if we went further, then we would get like hit with the ban hammer. But some people do that all the time, and they're never married to one account, so they're just very used to changing accounts when they get banned.
But that's what I thought was interesting, is this guy, they banned him on other accounts he made.
Well, because they know who he was.
Right, so they must have, been tracking his IP?
I don't really know.
Because how do they not track everybody's IP?
I don't really know how they enforce banning him for life in his private world. Like, I don't think they can really stop him from doing that. But he can never make a YouTube video again because he's been banned. So if he makes something about Fortnite or anything... Well, it's probably just Fortnite. But yeah, if he makes a Fortnite video again, they'll know that he's on an account. So they'll ban that account.
It is interesting. And I guess what I almost see as a missed opportunity is, to say that they're trying to make an example out of him, I understand. But then I'm just thinking, well, don't you think there might have actually been a better lesson in it if he was unable to play for like 6 months or a year, and then after that returned to the game, having learned his lesson and now being a member of the community speaking against it? I
actually think they were too soft. I think they should have shipped him off to the Gulag, as well as several generations of his family, because video games are important, especially Fortnite.
They should have actually dropped him into a Fortnite game.
If we don't crack down on these terrorists, who will?
Yeah, so ultimately they should have swatted him, is what you're saying.
No, I wouldn't even as a joke suggest swatting, especially in America, because the SWAT team is more likely to kill you, like being the one being swatted.
In the U.S.?
You're almost guaranteed to lose your dog, too, if you have one.
Yeah, that's what's always weird.
Yeah, swatting's a really fucked up thing to do.
What I don't understand about swatting is that the police departments have a lot of bad behavior on their part, in the sense that there's... Like, when do we ever take one person's word to be the whole scenario? Like, especially because some of these swatting situations I've heard about, they talk about having hostages, and the police just fucking rush in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys are ridiculous. Like, this goes against all protocols that you guys have as far as, like, establishing a line of communication with a hostage taker, and, like, instead you just barge in there. It's very strange. Like, the problem, obviously, is with shitheads, but it does seem odd how... the problem is as bad as it is.
Yeah.
Like, it seems weird to me that, and then you look at Tim Pool, who's been swatted like 800,000 times, is to the point where the police department has like a standing order to like basically check with him to see if he's being attacked.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous.
They call it a whitelist
instead of a blacklist.
Yeah, it's a local police department whitelist.
Meaning people who expect to be swatted.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Every time iDubbbz used to upload a content cop, he would call his local police department and say, "This address is very likely going to get phone calls." So, you know.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Why content cop? It's not even live.
Because the fans of the people he's after go after him.
Seriously?
Yeah, rabidly.
Oh
It's
my
probably
God.
why he doesn't make content cop anymore.
Oh my God.
Now he focuses more on docs, documentaries, not doxing.
Docs. Oh yeah, I guess that's pretty ambiguous, isn't it?
Yeah.
DOCS, DOX.
I've never understood why it's called that. Why is it called doxing? Where does that
That's
come from?
actually a really good question. I've never considered that either. But that it's certainly strange that we've gone down that part of the road where that's like becomes an instinctual reaction for people. They're like, dox this person. And you think, okay, well, what purpose could you possibly have for doxing them other than wanting to do them harm?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's celebrities and politicians who have called for doxing.
Yeah, Kathy Griffin, that was the creepiest one.
Yeah.
That was so messed up. I was like, you have no business being in public life anymore.
It's
You
amazing
are
that she
useless to me.
She used to have a show called My Life on the D List, and it was this like kind of tongue-in-cheek fun thing that she did where she was acknowledging that she's really not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's making political statements and calling for public destruction of human beings. It's really interesting. Like the internet, like sometimes you go down the right path and sometimes you don't.
Well, I think she, like many other people in Hollywood, they fell victim to Trump derangement syndrome.
Is that its own thing now? Is that in the in the books now?
It's people who decided, or they were so upset with Trump, for most of them good reasons, that they decided to abandon their own morals. Right? So the idea was, because Trump is so evil, we have to be evil in order to combat this thing.
They went down to his level.
Exactly. I mean, the first thing she did pretty much when he became president was that picture of her holding his severed head.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And it's like, hey, that's sure. I don't think that should be illegal, because that's part of free expression, provided that it's done in a way that doesn't constitute an open threat. But is that really what you want to do? Is that really your type of comedy?
Yeah.
It's not. That's not how you do things.
I don't like Trump. I find him inflammatory and potentially dangerous. But I think he should be able to tweet. I think it's weird that your president is saying wacky shit on Twitter, but I mean he was the president at the time. But I think it's important that people are allowed to say it, because there's no better way to what's the word I'm looking for? Validate somebody's detraction or dissenting opinion than by telling them they're no longer allowed to speak.
Yeah, you
Because
can't
that's
listen
like,
to that person.
If I went to my boss and I had this thing that I didn't even think was a very big deal, I didn't even prepare myself for it. I was just like, hey, this one thing kind of bothers me. If he was like, you're fucking fired, then I would know, wow, I was really onto something that I wouldn't have known about had you just said, I would rather not speak about it now.
Yeah,
like
or
that,
I'm
that
confused.
extreme response would make me realize, oh no, there's a lot more to this conversation than I realized.
And then you start digging.
So if I were to go and suggest some silly thing on Twitter and then I got banned for it, I would be like, wow, so it's true. Like, I'm going to go find other people who have also been banned from Twitter, and we're going to group up, and not to make this stupid fucking meme that everyone thinks is hilarious, but we're going to go make our own Twitter with blackjack and hookers. Hopefully, the change of management in Twitter changes things. Change with a thing that big is always going to be slow, so it's hard to really say what it'll do. You're also talking about a guy who's managing way too many companies at once.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I was finding
one
weird.
of the companies that Elon is managing could be too much for one person, and he's got like 3 or 4 right now.
Yeah, it's definitely fascinating in that sense.
Also, Elon, where are the rail bots?
Do you really want rail bots?
No.
Bag a bum?
Bag of bum.
Homeless people brought to the facility have been doubled. Oh my god. Important notice. Do not take materials home from the lab. Expect mutation of an employee's cat were difficult to explain.
There's a Hitman level where the only Hitman level where there are people being experimented on is the only Hitman level with homeless people.
What?
Yeah.
Which Hitman game are we even talking about here?
The new ones.
Oh, okay.
The new trilogy.
Something creepy's gonna hit the glass. Well,
She got real splatted there.
She wasn't
got,
really,
She got squishy.
she wasn't creepy, but she did hit the glass.
I like a squishy lady. I don't know about you.
A squishy lady?
I like a squishy lady.
I mean, is that supposed to be like a Finding Nemo reference?
No.
No.
No, like she's squished against the glass.
Oh, I see. So you want her to be like flat, like a pressed flower?
No, I want her to be squishy. Listen.
Well, squished or squishy?
This fucking generation.
They never understand anything.
Ah, fucking. You know what's the thing about this generation is that they're not like my generation, and because I grew up the way that I grew up, I don't think it's even possible to grow up in a different way.
Yeah, that's.
It's just funny. You don't know how. I'm sure there's a good word for it, but it's like those jokes that everyone makes. Those really obvious observational jokes. Like if a guy's last name was right, but he was wrong.
Right.
Everyone you know would make that fucking joke, thinking this is a clever, original thing to say. When you talk about other generations, you're doing that to yourself. You're wrong. You're wrong. Most of the differences between the generations are in qualitative. No, that's not a good way to describe it. Let's say, for example, social behavior in high school. The difference between the 1980s and the 2020s is the technology. But the way that high school kids, how mean they are,
how
how
they gang up on each
ruthless
other,
they are, the tribalism, all of that shit, it's the fucking same. We haven't evolved that quickly. We just do it differently. We do it faster. We do it in a broader, like in a larger group. We can group up on people in different countries, which is really cool. It's really taken the
really cool. Yeah, I love the way.
Listen. It's taken the pressure off of you. Don't have to look through your high school for someone to bully. Now, you can outsource it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously. That's a joke. I don't actually think that's okay. But I think a little bit of bullying is. I originally negatively responded to the workplace that I'm in right now because a lot of the guys are fucking mean. And then I realized that that's because they like me and they giving a guy a hard time in the construction industry is how you let them know that you like them. Because if you don't like them, you just don't fucking talk to them.
Well, yeah, I've said that to people many times. If I don't make fun of you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to interact with you. See, I forget who it was. Somebody said a good friend will talk shit to your face and be nice about you behind your back. When you're a man,
that's a good one. I like that.
When you're a man, that is actually how life should go. Your friends should be dicks to your face, and they should be, really supportive of you when talking to other people.
Well, and the other way to look at it is that friends are there to pick you up when you fall down. Best friends were the ones that pushed you over.
Or laugh when you fall.
Or pick you up and then push you down again to see you fall because they missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come into work. Like the other day I was coming into work and a guy had his van parked in front of everybody else's. So it was a real problem.
Real dick move.
And I peeked my head in, and he was so used to me giving him a hard time that he was like, "Yeah, I know." He didn't even tell me what
That's
happened.
So funny.
And I was like, "You're fucking parked in a weird spot there, bud." And he's like, "Yeah, thanks." So he already understood, and it's because we let it out, right? We don't harbor that resentment and keep it to ourselves and get frustrated over time, and then eventually explode and go, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, it breeds
Instead,
resentment for sure.
You give them a hard time when it happens, and then you move on. You just say it You just go. You post and ghost.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was gonna say that most of my problems aren't even with this current generation, but then I realized. So I would contend that the generation that raised us was, that first generation where you could go, kids these days, because. I mean, there's good parents in every generation, but let's face it, the proportion of good parents is definitely dropping at a rapid rate.
Yeah, but it's because of how they were. It's because of how they were raised.
Well, exactly.
But also, there are historical examples of people complaining about new generations from hundreds of years ago.
There are, absolutely.
Like, there's a great Vsauce has a great one where he doesn't tell you where it came from first, and instead he just tells you the message, which was that youths these days only speak in short bursts and never have to use full sentences, and that their ability to converse is only going to get worse. And that was said in the late 1800s.
Although the last part was correct.
In London, where they were starting to use pigeons. And so you could send a message to someone in the same town, and it would get to them in the same day, which was really cool, because back then it used to have to be done by post. So, but in order to send you have to send a tiny message on a pigeon. So it was like
had to tweet. Is that what you're saying?
It was a tweet. It was a bird.
The original tweets.
It might even be where Jackie got the fucking expression from. Who knows? I haven't interviewed him yet. But yeah, like they had to send basically a sentence. It was like one line. So you couldn't write in a full sentence. You had to say things like, at dawn, this place, dress well. It was like
that's all you could fit.
Yeah, I love that. It's called juvenoia, by the way. The belief that your generation is better than the ones that surround it.
Right.
That you are the Oreo cookie of the generations.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should be called Oreo Cookie Nova, but whatever.
Yeah, and I do think that that's one of those challenges where there's also cycles. So some people 100%. Will just happen to be right that the generations after them weren't as good, but that's just because society's on a decline. And then at a certain point, the generations will start getting better and better, but they might still be perceived as being worse and worse at the same time.
It's also that classic weak men, strong men thing.
Yes.
Where like strong men create weak...
No, strong men create good times.
Yeah.
Good times create weak men. And then weak men create bad times again. And bad times create strong men to restart the whole cycle.
Right. So it's a cycle, or you could even look at it as a wave. I prefer to look at it as a wave. It's kind of like the depression, recession, what are the other words? There's 4 parts to that process. How does that go?
In a wave?
The economic thing.
It's
like recession to depression.
Yeah, so recession, depression, then rebound, and something else.
And then success, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know the right words. But they have to go in cycles. We don't stay at any one of those 4 things the way that we don't stay in any one of the seasons. Unless you live in fucking California.
Yeah. Where even then you do have like a rainy season of about a week and a half. It does occur every year.
Well, let's be honest here. There are so few external issues in California that they just make new problems for themselves. They're like, you know what? We haven't struggled enough right now. You know what we should probably do? Let's take the bees out of
I have never seen a place less interested in its own well-being.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, I've been like, trying to find a way to describe the problem that we have today, and I think the best way I've figured it out is we are actively undermining the conditions that created the prosperity we have. We're going out of our way to try and change all of the things that brought us to the dance. And you can do that to a certain degree, but you can only do it for so long before all of a sudden you don't even have the prerequisites to be there anymore.
I do sort of understand that, because sometimes I feel like something's too easy. I guess the easiest example would be in video games. I do it all the time. Like, I just choose not to use something because I'm like, that's too good.
The weapon, yeah.
That's way too good. Or even a strategy. Like, sometimes a lot of games don't consider that you can get an advantage by jumping before you do something because you're like in the arc. Like you can start an attack in the air, and it gives you an advantage.
Right.
I just won't do it. I'm like, the other people aren't going to do it, so neither am I. But then there's the problem too. Like sometimes in a multiplayer game, it's hard to not do the strats. Like for the longest time, we hated how Rainbow Six Siege would let defenders leave the fucking building and just shoot you in the open. And the developers were like, we put an extra car outside to make it harder to shoot you. And I'm like, just don't let them leave. I don't understand why it's so important that they do. But it was said really well by a guy that I was playing with. He's like, it's not so much that it's wrong. It just goes against the spirit of the game. There's a really fun balance to attacking from the outside and coming in, and defending from the inside and staying in. But it's obvious that leaving as a defender is a better strategy. So if you don't do it, you're just not going to do as well. And eventually you have to just go like, I'm either going to argue to change this thing or accept that it won't change and just not play it. And that's unfortunate because that's where I'm at right now.
Well, and that is unfortunate because you don't want to stop playing. That's not, that was never the intention. But you do kind of have to do what you have to do sometimes.
Can green overlay blue?
Do I have to connect green too?
Yeah, I would say so.
Shit.
You don't have a lot of time to do it.
How much time do I have?
That's the answer. It does go over top of itself. It's like slowly tipping down there at the top.
Okay, no, I figured it out. They need to cross at that junction right there.
No, that's not gonna work. It's gotta come down and up. You gotta connect that blue down left there first. Yeah, like that. Yep.
Okay.
And now just connect the greensies. No, right now it's connected to the bluesies.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to restart this, buddy.
Nope, I got it. I almost had it. I did not understand what they were asking me to do here, but I know what banana. I know what you mean. Did you like that?
A banana.
I know what you mean about balance. I've been struggling a little bit recently because I'm working on that World of Warcraft private server.
Right.
And so I'm trying to build in all of these different functionalities for how I want to sort of structure. I want to change the values of what you need for certain emblems, like as far as how many you need to buy certain items. I came up with a whole system for trade items because there's nobody around to make stuff and have professions. So I've been trying to make holy shit. I've been trying to make a system where you can get those items without having to have other people in the game. But then the question becomes, how much should they cost? And, is that balanced with the costs of all the other trade professions? And it's really non-trivial when you start getting into the nitty-gritty of it.
The specific complexities are not a small feat in any project. Like it's one of the reasons why I think I spin my tires so long before I release a video, is because I don't actually want to make the final decision of being like, this is it,
right?
This is what I want you to see. This is how I want you to see it. And so it can be tough sometimes where it's like this video has been sitting in my fucking to-do list for way longer than it should.
There's a lot of trial and error that ends up happening at times, right? Like, trying to figure it out. How the hell do I connect this? Hang on. What the heck?
I have no idea, buddy.
This way.
Yeah? Yep. There you go. I'm going to turn that bad boy.
Woo!
I was watching a Corridor Digital video where Nico was talking about how he had edited the same section in 3 different ways to see which one it is better. And I was like, I have never once edited a section of a YouTube video in more than one style. Like I've said this doesn't work, scrapped it and tried it again. But I've never gone out and been like, here's the A, B, and the C take. I've never done that before. I'm too lazy. I'm like, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, you try something different. But there's so many things left on the cutting room floor that might actually work, but I wouldn't know about them because they're gone.
Right.
Like I don't manage multiple angles
and save them
of anything that I've created. Yeah.
So what you're saying is we need an A take, a B take, and a C take. You need an A take, a B take, and a C take.
I knew you were. I was actually thinking about the same thing. It's a part of a documentary called "I Know That Voice," and the guy who does that he played like Fred Flintstone and a bunch of other stuff. He's very prolific. But he was kind of dunked on by the meme community because people like to make fun of his one of the Final Fantasy characters that has this laugh that's like ah ha 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 ha.
Oh.
And he responded to it like it was supposed to be stupid, but he was clearly insecure about the whole thing. So it kind of like added to the funny.
Oh no! Everyone enjoyed that too much.
Yes.
This is really intense, like boss, I guess you could call it.
I really like this like the one consistent thing about every level is that you're somehow playing with time.
Yes.
But in a scripted format, so the game is able to handle it. Because if you were actually able to affect the future, it would be the scripting would be unbelievable.
It'd be near, yeah, it would be impossible.
Time travel is such a fucky thing. I don't always care for it. Sometimes I go, okay.
Oh, it's just too much sometimes.
Yeah, one wrapping your head around multiple timelines.
And everyone has their own fucking idea of how time is supposed to work too.
Yeah, and like in the Peripheral, as soon as you have contact with the past, it branches off the like the original version of the past is no longer existing.
Oh, I see.
So like you can't really affect the future. Yeah, it's a very fucky thing. It's essentially like if you're being contacted by the future, then it's the future you're affecting, and it's being affected by their decisions of. Yeah, I can't even fucking.
Yeah, well, it's like I watched the Buzz Lightyear movie, which in general I enjoyed. But one thing that really bothered me is like in the end they have the decision like, oh, we can go back in time and keep you guys from being stranded on that planet where all of your friends lived until they died. And he's like, no, but they built a life for themselves there, and I want them to enjoy that life. And I'm just thinking, it doesn't matter how you think time travel works. Either A, that life will just simply be overwritten by their new life, which will hopefully be better because they're not stranded. Or B, it'll create a new timeline where they'll get to stay there and live their old life, and there will be a new life that doesn't involve so much misery. So I was just like, I don't agree with how you see time, and so that means I don't like your ending.
Time travel is also way too easy in every fucking show. And it's like it's one thing in the Avengers where you have all of these super characters and brilliant minds and you've been like working on it forever, and then you also like use the MacGuffin that everyone's been after for like 8 years. But a lot of shows are just like, it's just fucking Portal, man. I don't know. Just fucking step into the door. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, just go for it. It should be fine.
At least balance it, like not Dinotopia. What was that? What was that time travel-y dinosaur thing?
Dinotopia.
No.
This is not going to go well for me.
Very close. It's the one where they can only go back to 65 million years ago. They can't go forward.
Nova.
Terra Nova.
Terra Nova, that's it.
See, at least you've added an element of it where it's like there's a balance to it. It's like, yeah, we can time travel, but we can't just go back and forth. And then that's an element of the story, is that some people are trying to figure out how to go back and forth.
Totally.
Because at the moment, there's no reason to go back to like take advantage of the past. Because you can't get anything back to the future.
Exactly. You would have to be able to turn around and make that worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, some time jargon and some nonsense.
It's probably a good time.
Then we are in the future. Next time, robots.
Yeah, next time, copyright infringement of Fallout games.
We can do it. I feel like we're getting some copyright infringement of Rogue right here.
Yep, even... Oh, no. Oh, I love this game.
Bang on.
All right, bye, everybody.
You will need it. The streets are unsafe for humans.
You've managed to subvert a battle droid programming? That's impressive. We've never been able to do it.